So good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's time to present the stress management as a concluding session of Atal FDP on artificial intelligence. I thank Dr. Manavala Sundaram, Dr. Viveka, Professor. There is for this wonderful opportunities. So today I'm going to present on the stress management. The preamble is, first I will talk about the change. What are all the conditions which make us for this kind of the stresses, and then how the emotional intelligence is related to this, then how to manage the stress. So these are all the preamble of my talk. As you are all aware of that, a philosopher belonged to the 500 BC, that is 2500 years back, Heraclitus. He gave one wonderful philosophy. The only constant in life is change. So he told, you cannot step into the same river twice. You can step into the river is flowing, everything is constant, but the flowing of water is not constant. You cannot step into the same river twice. A very good philosophy. It is eternal. So the change is the buzzword which creates a lot of stresses. It may be the positive or in the other things. So why the change is very much important? If you look into this, our body is having one phenomena that is called homeostasis. Homeostasis, that is the fundamental property of resist change for taking it to the stable equilibrium. That is why a human being can exist at the 45 degree at the same time -5 degree or -2 degree. So the body is having its own mechanism to adjust itself to the condition or the environment. That is called the homeostasis. That will initially resist, then the body is allowed to accustom to the surroundings to reach the stable equilibrium. So that is why, as a human being, whenever you are facing any change, automatically we will resist initially the change, then we will slowly cope with the changes. It is a phenomena already available in our body system. So that is why you could see in your workplace or your home or the society, whatever the points, whatever the opinions, whatever you are telling, it cannot be initially, it cannot be observed and followed by others, because that will always, they will think and resist, then automatically they will accustom to the changes. So this is the buzzword. Mahatma Gandhi told that if you want to change the world, start with yourself. So yourself is the major thing. So you have to change yourself, then everything will become changed. Then you would have come across a futurist who wrote a book in 1970 August, Future Shock. That gentleman's name is Alvin Toffler. Recently he passed away. So whatever he perceived in that book, The Future Shock, it is happening after 50 years. So he perceived, foreseen and envisaged a lot of things. One such thing is nothing but the work from home concept. So he wrote in the book in 1970, future, most of the person are going to work in their own homes. So there will not be any much problem. So it is happening now, whether wish or hate, whether we received or not, but that is the nature. It is order of the day. No other go. We have to accustom to that. So that is why the online education is evolved to a newer thing. The education itself evolved to the paradigm shift. So hereafter, we have already crossed the Lakshman Rekha. So we could not go back to that mode. So we are, as a teachers, the teaching fraternity around there is all over the country. So you should think that hereafter the mechanism or the pedagogy for the teaching will be always combined with the technology and the online. So he gave one name that theory. Change is the process by which the future inverts of lives. So here the technology runs us. We are going behind the technology, and the technology won't come behind. So you must understand. So this is the concept I want to insist. The change is the buzzword. So how the change becomes a problem for ourselves. So if you see that all walks of life all over the world, there is always a problem started because of the resisting change. So in 1990, we implemented and the LPG, liberalization, privatization, globalization. So many countries resisted at that time, and you know about the condition of those countries. So those who are willing to change, those who can adapt to any changes, so they are going to be the successful person. They are going to be the existing in this world. So that is why we have to learn a lot. We should not resist. So what is the condition? This is mainly because of the rapid growth of the science and technology. The science and technology growth for the period of 1900 to 1950 is equivalent to 1 day at present. So you could see that the changes happening at a rapid rate. So the rapid rate, the changes, we are unable to cope with this. So that is why we are feeling the stress or whatever may be the things, the problems created. It may be the economic problem or social problem, societal problem or personal problem. So whatever may be, mainly the cause is the change. That is why he told that the illiterate of the 21st century will not be those who cannot read and write, but those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. That is the order of the day. Now, the software companies are telling skill, upskill, and then reskill. Otherwise, learn whatever the technology comes today. Next day, you will receive one more technology. You unlearn whatever you learn, then you have to learn the new technology. There is no other go. If you are understood this concept, there will not be any problem. Even maybe a single person, even an organization, even a state or a country, those who are unable to change itself themselves, and they are eliminated, dethroned by the system, not by individuals. That is why the lifelong learning is very much important. You could see how it affected 20 years back. Many workers are using the bullock carts. many persons are using only the bullock carts. Suddenly, we received the Maximo or whatever may be the things. So all are completely changed one time, one day. He unable to cope with these changes because he is not having the education up to 8th standard. Only those who are having up to the 8th standard or 10th, he can get the driving license. So he will be suffered. So if you see that roadside shops are there, were there, but now where went. So now everybody is going to the latest. So many grocery shops are there, but now we are moving to the shopping mall or the supermarket like this. So likewise, if you see that there are a lot of things, there is an evolution, then automatically it will put the pressure on the human beings. So that is why the change is the buzzword. If you understand, there will not be any problem. So one thing, we have to learn a lot, but we are insisting the current generation on a lot of things. But we are forgetting the same thing we did while we are in the students. So that is happening. The students are always the same. The mentality is the same, but the surroundings become changed. So we have to improve the adaptability. Those who adapt to any changes, they are going to be the front runner. They will not suffer any kind of the stress and other things. So you might know about the Moore's law. The gentleman who gave the Moore's law in 1958 about the semiconductors or the number of transistors per square inch on integrated circuits had doubled every year since their invention. Even if you see that until now the law is validated, still it will continue. Many persons told that it will not be exist after 2020 or 2050, but still it is. That means the computing power gets doubled every 18 months. The same way the hardwares are getting changed every 2 years or 3 years. Software are changed every 6 months or 3 months. So the obsolescence is there. So that is why we have developed some skill in certain area. By the time the disruption happened and new things coming into this, so immediately we are unable to learn all those things. So those who are unlearning, there is a real capacity or capability, they are finding very difficult. All walks of life felt more by this. This is because of the rapid growth or the changes, the speed at which change is happening is not able to cope with ourselves. That is why the lot of stress is happening. Then the second concept, the generations, used to divide the generation based on the birth. So we are having those who born between 900 to 1945, they are called as traditionalists. Those who born between 1946 to 1964, they are called as baby boomers or boomers. Then those who born between 65 to 76, generation X. Then millennial, 1977 to 1997 or 98. Then generation Y. Next, the generation Z, that is after 98. So more or less there is no strict and fast rule of the years. It may vary time to time or person to person. The general idea is if you see that the 5 generations are there. So if you see that I am belonging to the generation X, by my teachers belong to the baby boomers, now my students are belonging to the millennial or generation Z. So this is the major thing you must understand, because I am learning from the baby boomers, but I am teaching to the generation Z or millennial. So how come it is the same thing will be translated to them? So it is not possible. So yesteryear is different. Past is past. Today I am learning something, but tomorrow it is different. So as a teaching fraternity, you first accept this, try to understand this, then accordingly you change your methodology, pedagogy, whatever, because the generations are changing. You are teaching to the generation Z. Though if you see that the characteristics are changed, if you see that the baby boomers, the moon landing, the generation X, fall of Berlin Wall, millennial 1911 attacks, now it is different. World War II, civil human rights, Gulf War, community service, now bio war, terrorism. So these are all happening. It is there every period, but it is evolved. So that is why if you see that another graph from 1880 to 2020, then still up to 2030. Now they are called as those who were born after 2010 may be generation alpha. Name may be different, but if you analyze the characteristics, there will be a different. So that is why we are used to term as generation gap. So you must understand this, then you can, because there is a paradigm shift in all 360 degree. All the spectrum changed, but we have to change. You analyze the students, then you give whatever may be the things, then there will not be any problem. So because of this, the changes, the computing power, the information age, so this will create the anxiety and all other things. That is why the gentleman Alvin Toffler, who wrote the book, and he gave the title Future Shock. Those who are not unable to change, then they will feel it as a shock. Those who are able to change to anything, then they will not feel the shock, then they will go as it is. So this is the major problems, the stresses, everything happening in all walks of life is due to this. So based on this, so we must change. There is no other goal. So we have to learn a lot. So we have to update ourselves. Otherwise, we will be outdated. Those who are very much familiar in the chalk and talk method, they are finding very difficult now, because the pedagogy is completely changed to the technology enabled one. So no other go. I have to sit in my college or my home. I have to teach. But if I have not learned many nuances of the presentation through the online education, how can I get the accolade from the students? Automatically, you are only within your classroom, or you will be rated among your colleagues in the department, or at the extent to your institutions. All of a sudden, one child is listening a lecture, the same artificial intelligence taught by Harvard professor or Oxford professor, another one from the IIT Delhi, the another one by you. Immediately the students comparing your teaching ability, the materials matter everything. So they are at a single day, you are competing in a global environment. That is why we are feeling very stressed. So no other go, we have to elevate ourselves. So if you raise our levels, cope to the changes, automatically the student will listen to us. The students are asking, why should I attend the class? I am not getting any new things from you. You are giving, simply vomiting from the books. So that is always there in my mobile as a soft copy. So e-books are available. So many PowerPoints are there. So many YouTubes are there. But what you are making a difference. That is why I used to tell my faculty members, you are a blender. You are a mixer. You have to blend the latest technology, the journals, the magazines, the latest books, the fundamentals. You have to connect, blend all those things and give it to the student. It should not be available anywhere in the world. So that is the pressure for the faculty members. You have to raise your level. You have to show your innovation. There is no other goal. That you have to teach them innovatively. Then only they will accomplish your teaching ability. They will listen to your teaching. They will rate your teaching as a good one. So unless otherwise, whatever you are telling, they should not or they may not digest, because you are taking class for 1 hour for understanding a simple concept. But another gentleman from other things through the online, they are taking only a few 5 minutes to teach that concept, and the same student gets clarified. Then you should then you know about the level of the faculty member. So these are all the major things. So now I will connect. We are having always the stresses or all those things. Then how to manage? So today I am little bit deviating from the stress management, but it is necessary. Emotional intelligence. I am going to present. I am going to talk about the emotional intelligence or emotional quotient, EQ. So for the past 5 days, you have learned many things on artificial intelligence, the human intelligence in machines. But we are trying to emulate the human intelligence in machines through the software or hardware or machines or whatever. Still we are unable to make it, because the brain system is the best in the world, at the same time worst in the world. The same brain can create a wonder, can create the same, whatever you are visualizing in this world in the science and technology is the result of the human power or the brain power, human brain power. The same brain can think in a small fraction of a second. Same artificial intelligence can harm the whole society. Yeah, student who learned a lot the artificial intelligence from you and he is utilizing for harming the society, then what will be the disaster? That is why we are always imbibe the values and instill the confidence, and we should always keep think value-based education. The engineers are always making the use of the science and the mathematics, and for the benefit of the society. They should not harmful to the society. So that is why the professional ethics will be very much important. You are teaching a lot of concepts of artificial intelligence, making the machine. Then from remote, anybody can operate those machines that harm to the society, the entire nation. That is happening now, what we are facing, the bio war or whatever, maybe the things. That is why we have to instill the confidence. At the same time, you have to repeatedly tell the students of the younger generations to instill whatever we are learning, the science and technology should not be harmful to the society. It should be the betterment of our own the society. So next, the emotions. As you are all aware of that, the human beings always we are having the emotions. You learn a lot of artificial intelligence, but you have not learned. The machines don't have any emotions or the feelings. But as a human being, I am having the emotions and lot of feelings. That is why once a great director of yesteryear, Mr. Balachandra, who told in his interview, I am a man, I am a person having a bundle of emotions. Yeah, it is true. I do agree. Everyone in this world is having the bundle of emotions. Always the directors are having more this thing. That is why he can create any there is a movie or characters. So he has to make it. So yes, it is there. Everybody is having a bundle of emotions. Now we are having normally the 6 emotions: happiness, sadness, fear, disgust, anger, surprise, and so many feelings and emotions. So previously we used to call it as always the IQ, intelligent quotient. It is the assessment of the human intelligence with the various tests and other methods. Those who are having more than 150 IQ is maybe a intellectual or like that genius, like that. So the intelligent quotient is always there. But now, recently, we are talking about the emotional intelligence or emotional quotient. It may be called as both emotional intelligence or emotional quotient. So prior to 1990, we have not come across this kind of the terminology. One gentleman who wrote a book in 1995, Emotional Intelligence, the gentleman's name is Daniel Goleman. So who wrote a book on emotional intelligence in 1995, and it is followed everywhere. So what do you mean by emotional intelligence? It is the capacity of recognizing our own feelings and those of others for motivating ourselves, for managing emotions in ourselves as well as in our relationships. EQ is critical to managing your behavior, moving smoothly through social situations and making critical choices in life. You may ask, everybody is emotional. So what is the difference between the emotional person and emotional intelligent person? Emotional persons are those who are displaying the emotions. There is a distinguish between the feelings. Feelings always the inner, the emotions always displayed. So the feelings and the emotions are different, and the emotions are always displayed. So the emotional persons are always displaying, but emotional intelligent person is having the ability to identify and manage one's own emotions and other emotions. So emotional intelligent person is having the capacity, capability or ability to identify or recognize and managing their own emotions and also others' emotions. That is why emotional intelligence is very much important. Miserably, those who are having high IQ are failure in workplace or in the house or in the personal life or in the society because of lackness in the emotional intelligence. Now,
No.
the younger generations, especially due to the lot of things, a lot of pressure, they are lacking with emotional intelligence. That is why they are unable to achieve their own goals, and the career achievement is hindered by this kind of the emotions. So the emotional intelligence is having the 5 factors or 5 components or the qualities, or those who are having the following 5 skills are termed as emotionally intelligent person. The first terminology is, the first factor is the self-awareness. So this is the fundamental skill or the foundation for the emotional intelligence. One should know about himself or herself. So you should know. That is why Saint Ramana Maharishi belonged to the Annamalai, Tiruvannamalai, who told or who wrote a book, Who Am I? So you should ask. So there is a solution in yourself. You should not ask others. All the problems, you will have the solution. Don't seek the solution outside. You seek the solution inside. Who am I? So the same thing, the self-realization. You have to ask yourself. So whether I am knowing my emotions, where I am exhibiting the positive emotions, where I am exhibiting the negative emotions. So how it is hindered the performance. So I may work in a group, in a department, or in a college, or in a house, or in maybe a society. Because of my explosion, because the anger in front of others, that may hinder my career and that troubled my health also. So you should know about. So you should know emotions, recognizing your own feelings. Don't bother about others. You first know yourself. That is why the self-awareness is the foundation for the emotional intelligence. Self-awareness, as per the Aristotle, it is being aware of our own mood and our thoughts and the mood. So ability to identify our own emotions is the best thing. So that is called the self-awareness. If you are all aware of your own emotions, then there will not be any problem. Then the second is self-regulation. Otherwise, we can call it as a self-management. Otherwise, managing emotions. A lot of emotions are there. You may ask, so how to control the emotions? Whether I have to control, it is very difficult. Don't suppress your emotions. Don't numb your emotions. But you have to try to control slowly. You cannot eliminate. As a human being, all are having, as I said, the bundle of emotions. You cannot be an emotionless person. If you are an emotionless person, then you may be reached to the saint or the sage. It is very difficult. We are all ordinary persons, so there is no other go. We have to manage our own emotions, not to suppress, not to numb emotions. So diffuse the challenging emotions, that will be the very good for you. So the managing emotions itself very good. So you have to identify what all the situation I am exploding, I am displaying my emotions. How can I control? So there are a lot of ways you can control yourself. So you cannot completely eliminate. You can control or manage. But sometimes the emotion, or if you expressing the emotions, and that itself heal your whatever may be the thing soul. So at that time there is no other goal. If you want to cry, you cry. If you want to, there is a law, you have to do that. Don't suppress. Then if you suppress so many emotions, at one point it will be vented. So the venting of emotions is the major concern. So where we are doing the venting? In front of the students, inside the classroom, or outside the classroom, or in front of the HOD, or in front of the higher officials, or in front of the other persons, in front of our own household persons, or our own family members. So you have to see that. So you have to manage yourself, and there will not be any problem at all. So once you should have the ability to self-awareness, you should know the self-awareness, and then the managing emotions. The third, the skill is self-motivation. This is very good, because harnessing the power of your emotions is the major thing for your career advancement. So if you want to perform, if you want to improve your performance, no other go, you have to motivate yourself. Then you should know you should know this nuances of ability of harnessing the power of your emotions. So here the high performance always happen when you are motivated yourself. So here comes, we used to call it as the impulse behavior, irrational behavior. So normally in our brain, we are having the neocortex, the frontal brain. Then in middle, we are having a small, there is an amygdala. So what happens in the emotional conditions, then the front cortical, the thinking will be suppressed, and it will be numb the things, then automatically it will create. That is why you should not take any decision in an emotional time. So after letting the emotions, then you take the decision, it will be very good. So the emotional, there is a time, during the emotional time, you should not take any decision. That is why in one of the movie in Tamil, so whatever may be, it may be a joy or sorrow or whatever may be the things, you defer for 5 minutes. Then you will self understood everything. Then you will come out. Then you understand exactly. You can enjoy the happiness. You can avoid whatever may be the anger and other things. So that is why this is a harnessing the power of your emotion is very much important. That is why this is called impulse control. You should grow yourself. You have to groom your impulse control, because now the youngsters are having always the more impulse behavior. You could see from your own child, there are a lot of things happening, because whatever they are seeing on the screen, they want to acquire things, because whatever they are touching the screen will give the immediately. So he is thinking always, so the screen is giving everything. Why it is not happening in the physical? So he is unable to, there is a differentiate the virtual world and the physical world. There comes the problem. So you must understand, and you have to give the counseling, and then and there you have to groom these things. So mentor the students. So the impulse control, delaying the gratification are very good one. So here comes one more things. Dodson law. Two scientists in 1908 who performed one experiment. They made a maze where rat is there, then they are having the electric shock arrangement. Slowly they are increasing the power of electric shocks. Then they observe the behavior of the rat. The rat is moving here and there, and they increase the power of electric shock, And they found at one point of time, the rat got tired and there is no action at all. So there comes, they form there is a bell curve or inverted U curve. So they made a graph versus level of stress in the x-axis and performance in the y-axis. So if you increase the stress at a certain level, the human being's performance is attaining to the optimal. After beyond certain stress, then the fatigue, exhaustion, so their ability or their performance is slow down. So it increases initially, then attain the optimum, then it will decrease. So the center point is the optimum performance. Left to the center point is called as U stress. The right side of the stress is called distress. So nowadays, you cannot live in this world without the stress. Yes, I do agree. Stresses are creating a lot of problems. But if you see, analyze, if you are having in a stress, you will achieve more. If you conduct an exam, it is a stress, then the students are starting to learn more things and they are scoring high marks. Suppose sometimes the many faculty members, if they are motivated, then even though they are giving 2 or 3 works, then they will achieve a very good result. So it will vary to person. If you see that, if the stress is very low, then it looks like a boredom. So that is why the pressure is always required. Positive pressure is required, then only we can achieve something. So automatically, if the pressure or stress exceeds certain level, then it is always a distress. Next, if you see this curve, X-Dodson law, it will vary person to person, task to task. So here you could see the blue curve. If it is a new difficult task, at a very low level of stress, you will attain the maximum. Beyond that, you cannot do that. At the same time, if it is the routine work, easy work, even if you are giving more work, then he will achieve the performance. So the middle, the most task. So here you have to, as a HOD, as a principal, as a faculty member, you have to identify the stress level of the others. So as a HOD, suppose if you are giving to a faculty member 2 or 3 works, he won't do. So in that way, in that case, you have to give only 1 or 2. But sometimes, some of the faculty members are very well versed in the multitasking. Then you have to give the work. So somebody is having more performance in easy work. So there comes, you have to identify your own stress level, at the same time others' stress level. So it will be very much useful. So this is somewhat, it is related to the stress management. X-Dodson law is always there. That is why where you have to self-motivated. The one more thing, in 1960, in Harvard University, they conducted a test. The test is still, it is there in the website or internet, marshmallow test. So they get into a classroom of having 4 years old boys and girls. They gave one marshmallow, a sweet. The condition is, If you are not eating the marshmallow for 20 minutes, you will get one more marshmallow. Some of them immediately they took the chocolate or the sweets. Some of the there is boys and girls, they got 2 marshmallows. Then after 14 years, they there is a survey and they analyzed the performance of SAT exam. They found that those who ate 1 marshmallow, they score, the average marks is 1052. But at the same time, those who got the 2 marshmallow, that means they defer the impulse for 20 minutes, their average is 1262. So there is a 20% performance improvement for those students. That shows, so those who are managing their emotions, those who are having the impulse control, they are going to achieve. That is why if you see that entrepreneurs are all highly emotionally intelligent persons, the leaders, the principal, heads of the departments, and the chief minister, prime minister, and the minister, then IAS officer, so many persons are there, but they are all having the more high emotional intelligence. So that is why they are able to achieve a very good performance. Then we will move on to the fourth the component that is very much important, empathy. You would have known that the difference between the sympathy and the empathy. Sympathy is the sharing the feelings with others, but empathy is you are feeling the other, there is other's emotions. So empathy, empathize. So that is why we used to tell you have to there is a look into the problems in other man's shoes. So you have to feel by making yourself in other man's shoes. Then there will not be any problem. So that is why faculty members should empathize in the point of view of the HOD or the principal. Why the principal is telling like that? Why the HOD is telling like that? The same way, the HOD or principal should know about the feelings of the problems of the subordinates. So then only he can manage. So that is why initially I told that identify and manage your own emotions and others' emotions. So if you are knowing the others' emotions, then only you can manage. So you cannot confine with your own emotions, and you have to there is a move to others' emotions. So once you know the problems of the faculty members, then you have to do that. So while you are giving some assignments, then you should see in their part what will happen. At the same time, the faculty members should see that, so why they are pressurizing us? Why? Because next month we have to submit our AAQR, or we have to submit SCR or SSR, NBER, NAC. So mainly the institutions' credibility is depending on getting the higher grade in the NAC or the accreditation. So that is why they are pressurizing us. So the subordinate should know about the problems of the higher officials. The higher officials should know the problems of there is the subordinates. Then there will not be any problem at all. So the empathy is very much important. So that is the fourth dimension or the quality. Then the fifth one is social skills. No other go we cannot do in individual. Now everything is only a teamwork or group work. So if you have to contribute something in a team or the group, there is no other group. So everyone should improve their own social skills. You have to behave with others and you have to know about, so handling relationship very much important. This is very much important for the everybody, every human beings, because our own family we are facing lot of problems, struggles. So here there is we are not understanding the relations, we are not handling the relations. Then in the college also or department, we are unable to, there may be a lot of problems. So because the relationship handling is always there. So the social, if a person is having a very less social skill, then automatically it is very difficult. No other go, we have to learn and we have to groom it. It is a learning skill. So it is not a generalized, so you can learn a lot. So if you are having these 5 skills or the qualities, then you will be having more emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligent person can achieve more. So you have to teach the students or younger generation, because the younger generation, because of the characteristics of the generation is that, and the generation alpha going to come. So they are all having, they don't have the passion at all. The attention span is reduced. Previously it is around 35 minutes. That is why we used to have the class for 50 minutes. But now the attention span is reduced to 12 minutes or 6 minutes. So we are facing a lot of problems, but you have to teach this also for the younger generation. So the younger generations are having the higher IQ. The human intelligence is more, but the emotional quotient is very less. So if a person is having high intelligence or intellectual persons having a very good emotional intelligence, then their career will be more, and they will achieve a very good, and they will lead a happy and life. So as pointed out initially, there are a lot of ways for stress management things. So these are all the stress management skills. Friendly social network. So we are doing more time. That is also causes a lot of problems. So we have to be in an optimum way, reduce the noise, self-limitations. We have to do exercise, because so many persons are sitting always in front of the screen, either in front of the mobile or in front of the laptop or PC or in front of the TVs. So the screen is deciding any person's mood or the emotions. So we have to control ourselves. So exercise, healthy diet, very much important for this corona period. Sleep and time management is also very much important. Then the meditation, that is why we used to call it as mindfulness meditation. So if you practice more, then automatically the emotional quotient will increase. So I conclude my speech. Once again, I will reiterate. Once again, I emphasize that the emotional intelligence is very much important. So you have learned a lot as artificial intelligence, but artificial intelligence is not having emotions and feelings. But the human intelligence or human beings are having always the emotions. So we have to know the emotional intelligence, and we have to groom the skills, and we have to teach the students, not only students, for your own kids, and you can implement whatever the things in the inside your family first, then to the classroom, then the college, or then the society. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We have really enjoyed this session, stress management, not only in theoretical way, as a part of VELALAR College and as a part of Manavala Sundaram, we are really having a real-time example with you, sir. Sir, thanks a lot.
Any queries from the participants?
Queries may be raised in the chat box. Participants, if you want to have any queries, you may raise in the chat box.
Susil Lekhi.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. You may ask.
Tell me, sir. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Tell me, sir.
Sir, main role of the stress management, sir, in which field stress management role is there?
Pardon, sir?
The role of a stress management in our life.
Yes. That's why I told, sir, it is very difficult, sir. Without the stress, you cannot live in this world. Because of this science and technological development, because of the there is a virtual world, always we will have the stress, but we have to manage ourselves.
Sir, any tool, AI tool that remove our stress in AI?
That is why I told that artificial intelligence don't have the emotions, but you can create that too by only the human brain can create. So your intelligence, you can create a program or you create on things. That is why we are having Alexa and there is Google Home. So a lot of gadgets are there where you can share your feelings. Immediately the machine will console you.
What, sir, Alexa, you tell about Alexa, but Alexa is understand those words which are in their database only.
Yes, sir. That is why already I told that the human brain system is the best system in the world, because we are creating the Alexa, we are creating whatever may be. But only thing is, we should not think that the virtual world is only the world. So you have to physically interact others. So the Corona period makes the people to interact with their own family members, because they are confined in a place. So they are having the chance, the nature creating the atmosphere for the human beings to know about the physical interactions. Somehow we lost some of the things. So we used to talk only through the mobiles or whatever may be, but you have to interact with people, then only you can learn many things.
Oh, yes, sir.
Age-old practice, we used to live in there is a combined family. So our own ancestors, elders, grandparents will teach them. But now the whole combined family is disintegrated into nucleated family, where we are having 2 members or 3 members or 4 members. So we are unable to share whatever may be things. That is why initially elders are telling lot of things. They will analyze your emotions, then and there they will console you, they will give the suggestions.
Thank you, sir. Another question from Deepandra Sinha. Sir, the question is, how we control our anger?
Yes, sir. Very good question, sir. How we control our anger?
Sir, sometimes the anger is itself a positive, because if you are not feeling the anger, you will not achieve something. Sometimes you would have seen that somebody is provoking you, then immediately you will have that fire, then you will do better. But no other go. Already I told that it's very difficult to avoid the anger, but you can minimize the anger. You can minimize the anger. Where you are displaying your anger is the problem. In front of others, if you are expressing inside the family members, that will be only affected by 2 or 3%. But the same thing, if you emulate inside the classroom or inside or in a college, then it will be a big problem.
Yes, it's true, sir.
So we have to be very careful about where to get anger, where to express anger, to whom to express the anger, and how far we can express the anger. Then how much anger you have to display, you have to control. Over the period you will learn, sir.
Once, sir, my sir advised me that if you are getting anger, you do not express your anger in front of the public. If you want to express your anger with the particular person, you go to the room of director and express their anger in front of him. That is the better way. Instead of
next question, sir, from Manmanthnath Das from CSE department. Is it good to suppress the anger in spite of showing it?
So already I told that you have to train your emotions or whatever may be, because it is very difficult to suppress. If you suppress the emotions, at one point of time, it will went through to some extent. So it is very difficult. So by practice, you can learn a lot. So the emotional intelligence is a learning skill. You can learn a lot. By experiencing yourself, you can learn a lot.
Next question from the same person, sir. What is the best way to cool yourself? Is it through meditation?
Everybody is telling the meditation. It is not like that. You have to see a lot of jokes, or you have to listen music, or you have to watch whatever may be. If you are having the bird watcher, then if you see the sky, then you will enjoy a lot. So the nature beauty is there. You can learn a lot.
So next question from Jason Ali Siddiq. How to make a balance in person and professional life? Because we teachers in COVID-19 time are working 24/7, getting calls from office and student as and when.
That's why I told that. So everyone is facing the problem. But if you see that, it is a big problem on April 1st. But now it is reduced, because by the time for the past 4 months, you are accustomed to this. Now you won't feel much. After 1 year, you will tell that there will not be any problem, sir. I can do, or I can attend both. So that is why those who are having a multitasking ability, they are going to survive in this world. Yet call taxi, there is a driver in there is a whatever may be the Ola or whatever may be. A driver should drive his car. At the same time, he has to see the route. At the same time, he has to attend the call, next call. So the one who doesn't have that multitasking ability, it is very difficult. So no other go. By the way, you will understand. But after a certain period, the students will understand. So we should not we should not trouble in this time. So you have to give a time window for the students. You can call me only during this period. So likewise, it will happen, because initially it is not there. Over the period, we will learn.
Okay, sir. The next question is from Shatish Ganvati. How important it is us as a teacher to understand student emotions in dealing with them, like not getting too personal also, and making sure everything is landing good?
So that is why I used to tell that. So if you are showing the caring ability, or if you show the care on the students, then there will not be any problem. You should not get into their personal problems. So they will express their emotions, no other go, because we are talking about emotion at the age of 30 or 40 or 50, but the student is having only a 17 or 18. How do you expect that he can control his emotions? It is there. We were the same the position 20 years back. So it is very difficult, but you no other go. You have to balance. Okay, Manavalan.
Okay, sir.
Okay, shall I conclude?
Yeah, sir.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.